Welcome back. Right now, we will be talking about effectiveness of government agencies and ministry. We know we are talking about the quality and effectiveness of ministers and heads of parastatals. We know that these are very critical to the government's overall performance as all policies are executed through the instrumentality of ministers, departments, and the agencies. That's the MDA. Ministers and heads of parastatals should begin to admit as a reality that they face three basic assessments: that of the midst of Mr. President, and who appointed them and whose pleasure they serve; the public, who they are assigned to serve; and, of course, history, which keeps records. They say history will never forget. The question here is, how effective are those MDAs, since they are critical government overall performance? And there's a need to talk about these at this point in time, because this is a time where those that are being in government are bringing out the scorecards. How fair, how well have they fared? Discussing this issue with us this morning is an entrepreneur and a disability advocate, Tolani Ojuri. Did I get that you were smiling?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Good to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for having me here.
So, how far have they fared?
Well,
Let's look generally now.
generally, just put it on the average. 4.5/10. And it now depends. I mean, anybody could come to argue that, and it now gets to, what variables are we using to assess them? What are the
4.5/10.
parameters
4.5/10. That's
to
the average.
assess them? And you could just look back in some, yes, the government have done some things, okay, infrastructure. Then you look back in the past 7-8 years, where were we, where are we now? And someone else could come and tell you, oh, okay, COVID dealt with us, the world economy is down and all that. But we are not the only country. We are just one country out of over 200 countries. Some other countries had the pushback, they bounced back.
Considering the fact that we are still babies compared to other countries.
The babies, but the kind of resources the kind of resources we have, those countries don't have it. So it's like all the resources we have, not even oil.
Let me give you a practical example. You have you as a parent, you are so comfortable. You are wealthy, so to speak, and you have a baby. You still have to nurture that baby, to show the baby which path to go. Would you want to compare your baby with your neighbor's child that is a full-grown adult, despite the fact that they are not as wealthy as you are?
Okay, let's start.
Do you understand?
That's why I said the parameters you want to use. From what you just said now, I'm not trying to compare us with the Western countries, US, UK. No. Let's move towards OPEC countries.
Okay.
I mean, let's move towards that, oil-producing countries. Even our oil quota, we can't meet it. We are not meeting, not because we don't have oil in the ground, not because we don't have production, just for us to get our acts together and meet our OPEC quota. We are lagging behind in that. United Arab Emirates, where did they start? Where are they now? The same thing we have, they have as well. And why are we not performing? These are the things we should sit down and ask ourselves. Oh yes, US had been there for 200 years. We are just barely 60 years or thereabout. That won't fly. Okay, why can't we even be the benchmark? Why can't we be the standard? I mean, and for all you care, that is even in the area of finance, our income and all that. We're looking at education, we're looking at health, we're looking at agriculture. Come on. Agriculture. Israel. When did they start? When did we start? In fact, we have better, arable land than most countries in Africa. We have the manpower, we have the land, we have the weather. Israel does not even have the land, and they are number one exporter of agricultural products. So where do we go? So we need to sit down and really set our priorities right. I'm not saying we're going to do it overnight. We're not going to like say, oh, we want to do everything just as well. We just have to like get, oh, in this particular area. We want in the area of education, in a child in primary 1 now, in the next 10 years, we want this child to compete favorably with this. We want this child to be at this level. In the area of tertiary institution, it will get to a point. At a point, we had people, Nigerians, who are going out to India. It was a deliberate effort by them. So why can't we do the same thing? We could just pick an area and make things easy for professionals in that area, and all these things will have a ripple effect on our economy. The way we are now is as if we just don't care. Even from the utterances of our government representatives, you just see that there's no vision, people just don't care, they are not working in sync with each other. The CBN governor is saying one thing, the finance minister is saying something else.
You have to go there.
Yes, it's in the news. It was, they both came out to say one thing. And these things really has a ripple effect. Even it dampens the morale of the citizens. So we have to, I try not to go to road. People talk about Stena climbs. No. There was a time we have the National Registration Agency. They put out all these songs that it seeps into your person, it seeps into your spirit. So you have the Nigerian spirit, so even in your subconscious, this song comes to mind. And you know that, okay, you're driving towards a particular goal. So those are the things that we need to see. We have about 6 months for this government to sign out. 6 months.
Barely.
So we have those 6 months
yes,
for them to sign out. As we are assessing them, at the same time, we are giving the government coming into power, whoever is coming into power, this is the problem we have.
Yes.
This is what we expect you to do. Whoever, it's not about one party or one person now. Whoever as it is, either they still get their person in power or somebody else. But we need to critically assess these things. Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, for the past 8 years, still the same thing over and over again. And you're telling me that you've done so much on infrastructure, and you want me to rate you high? Of course not. If you're coming from Mowe Bafo, you might spend 4 hours on the road. That should not be.
You might spend more.
Yeah, so that should not be. So these are the it is not what they are saying that they did. It is what the effect on the man on the street.
So would you say that over the years that the reason for failure in performance, or rather, let me not use the word failure in performance, the reason for low performance now could be the gap between the government and the governed?
Yes, there's the gap. It's like there's no kind of monitoring and evaluation, proper monitoring and evaluation. It's not enough to budget X amount for a particular project. It's not enough. You have to budget, allocate money, monitor. Some of them had come to the media to say that they have failed. They said it with their own mouth that they failed. Out of school children, we have about the highest in the continent. And are they saying that no money? And this is the same government that is budgeting so much money for not just education,
school feeding.
For school feeding. So who are they feeding? And you have a lot of out of school children.
I like to quickly chip in some things because what has been coming to my head and my eyes right now is the effectiveness of these ministries, agencies, and departments. And I want to say one of the things I feel in my own knowledge is a major problem is nepotism. Is, you see, this is not, it's not a place, it's not a governmental place where they appoint people by election. It's coming by appointment rather. Okay, Mr. Man, come and head this ministry. And I can tell you that a lot of time, I know as a president or a governor, you cannot know everything. And you are expected to put professionals in particular places to head there. And this is a country where you will see someone who does not know anything about a field, but because of a political compensation, because of political reward, you want to put this person to come and head this particular ministry or agency or department. You see a lot of politicians that know nothing, that have less qualification when it comes to, education, even if it's not about education. What about by experience? And this is where you take, I'll take ministry for education, for example, you get a check, does he have, what did he even study in school? I know you might not look it from that point of view, you might look it from another point of view, but I'm saying my own point of view. And you are saying, how does he even take education? Because ASU can't be on strike for 8 months. We have Minister of Education, we have Minister for State for Education, then we have other people that work in those departments, yet you have professors. Because this is the country where you see professors collecting less, and you see, somebody that would sit where Agbada in office collecting a lot of money. And then who really value education? Now talk about other ministries, other agencies, other departments. Corruption is everywhere. And I'll tell you, there is no government in the world today that wants to embezzle and embezzle directly. You cannot just stand up this morning and you assign money and say this. You will always come with a particular project, and no project comes directly from either the president or the governor. It has to, the permanent secretary is involved, the head of that ministry is involved, a lot of people are involved in such. So you see, a lot of time, people who work, somebody once said, I don't want to mention it, but a commissioner once said, he was given an appointment to be a commissioner of a particular ministry. And the permanent secretary said, I will frustrate this guy until he leaves, because he wants to start bringing his own policy on this place. Now, they have their own ways of making money. So sometimes it's not even like Buhari is not God.
So with what you have said, if I'm going to take you up on that, it's more of a sabotage. Would you say sabotage?
Yeah, more of sabotage to a level. But another thing I'm looking at is, it's not just governance is not Tea Party. He mentioned people in government that are not performing. As time goes on, we're going to get to a level whereby, and the earlier we get there, the better for us, whereby we have key performance indicators, and those KPIs will be the yardstick for any minister. In some other countries, even African countries, for the lecturers to be on strike for 8 months, that Minister of Education is gone. He will be sacked.
Yes.
So you now talk about the Labour Minister doing what he did with ASU and all that. Even if you have personal issues, take it out of the government space. In fact,
to the extent that they had verbal,
there was a particular country that a health minister, I think in a row, 3 people died because the ambulance did not get them to the hospital on time. She resigned.
A lot of times they resigned before
it escalated.
Yeah.
So they will sack you.
It's not in our culture.
It happens in our culture. In Ghana, it's in the news today. The president just sacked the minister for state of finance.
Yeah, very soon it will be in our culture. Look at this administration. When they came in, it took them 6 months to appoint minister. That won't happen again. That won't happen. We move past that because National Assembly
6 months,
did something and something. So the next guy coming won't do it again.
Well, we've had a commissioner in Lagos that resigned his appointment.
Yeah, because there was so much public outcry when we had the issue of the collapsed building. So we are going to move to that level. It might not be immediately, but we are gradually moving to like whereby before you come in, this is the ministry are coming to head. These are the problems. In the next 90 days, we want to see what you have done. In the next 1 year, we want to see what you have done. If you cannot do it,
because the ministers are the wings of the president. Whatever thing they say is from the presidency.
And another thing is because people don't engage the government appointees, they just go to sleep.
And put the blame on the president.
Just mere asking questions. They will sit up. You will see them coming to knock your door, come and explain, this was why. But now, you go and
But then you talk about people asking Yes, a lot of people are going onto public spaces to,
Yes.
ask for accountability
Call them out.
and call them out. And but the fact is that because of the distance between those in authority in this part of the world and the common man, there is a limit to how the access. There's a limit to how I can come to you as a minister to account for, or as you're even going too far. My local government, in fact, local government chairman is even too far. The councillor,
Yeah.
you understand? Do the people, are they really accessible to them?
They are accessible.
That's
They are accessible if you care to.
The problem of Nigerians are, if the moment you get an appointment to a political office, or you were elected as low as councillor, there's this level you start seeing yourself that you are above every other person. There's this level, there's this mentality that the chairman knows the governor, nobody can do, and people don't call them. And a lot of time you'll be like, if I want to, do you know, if you go on Google, you see all their phone numbers, you see their email addresses.
We don't test the system.
But are they really responding to email addresses? Are they really responding to calls, to SMS?
Because when you call them,
when there is crisis,
they try to find out who you are. And they try to find out what you have done in your community. If your CDA is organized, you mentioned councillor, that's the closest appointee to us.
Yes.
Yeah, during COVID, we had an issue. We kind of ran parallel to the government. And it was in the area of palliative incentives and all that. Okay, we've done it on our own. Who is even the councillor running this place? And when we called on her, she was like, okay, I will show up. And she was really, and you were there all the while. And you didn't even show up in your community. You didn't show up.
Must they call you before you show up?
You have to be really called.
You should know your responsibility.
And for me, if you had not even called her, she wouldn't say anything.
What?
She would just sit there quiet. And this went the same for the council chairman. And it's like nobody said anything. So it's like if you keep engaging them, even the House of Rep member, the senator, doing their mails. There are websites that you can really get
if you continue to say we should engage them,
yes,
on their own responsibility. Remember, we never engaged them to contest for whatever position they have.
But you elected them rather.
Well, maybe it wasn't the person I voted for. Yes, that's the honest truth.
No, when I talk about you elected them,
yes.
I'm just being.
I know.
Yeah, but you weren't representing.
But the honest truth is, if you vote a particular candidate, you have every right to interrogate that person.
Now let's talk about those are the political appointments. Now, those are the elected appointments. Now, there are so many. The ministers, the minister didn't get there by election. Was appointed, the appointee of of the government. And we want to believe that whoever, like the president, has used his discretion to put him there and all of that. Now, a lot of things are going wrong. But what do you think moving forward can be done?
We should start by putting more pressure on the ones we elected. Because even the House of Rep, the Senate as well, they have oversight functions. And they get so much money for those things. In fact, they buy them vehicles.
What?
They should. Because even some of these ministers, the Senate hearings are televised. So if you put too much pressure on your senator, he will definitely put the pressure on the minister. And things will come out in the open.
Okay.
And kind of the system will be forced to take care of itself. People would sit up. If we start taking care of the small things, the presidency automatically, because even the president will start asking them that, before you go to disgrace us, or because they start calling you, go and sort out your matter.
You said something like it took this current administration in 2015 6 months before they could appoint minister, and that is where I'm going now. See, the major candidates that want to contest in February 25, 2023 general election now. I feel by now they should have, at least inside of their ministers, by now they should have their, their, what do they call it, their cabinet. They should know, although there will still be some people that they will still want to elect. But I always feel like, why don't they always, I've never heard that a minister was appointed from a ministry. Because I feel like those people are in the ministry, they know the in and out, they know where they've walked to, they know the stop points, they know where they are going next. But you just go and bring somebody, one politician, to a politician that probably, I don't understand.
It's unfortunately the political culture.
Well, I just look at, I've never seen a permanent secretary becoming the minister of that same ministry.
Even at the state level.
It doesn't happen. It has to be, let's go and bring somebody.
It's who we are. And a particular administration, if you notice, most of the ministers, way back, most of the ministers were people who lost governorship elections.
That's why I said political compensation.
So they compensate them.
So the bottom line here is that we should start from the little things,
Yeah, from the grassroots. We keep engaging.
But we are the intermediary between the government and the people.
But again, we cannot just generalize. We should also note that some of these ministries have actually performed.
No doubt about
that. Some of these ministries are actually working. Some of this ministry is just that the space of decadence, is so much, and it seems to be as if the effort is not showing.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the key performance indicators. If the KPI, if the performance indicators are showing, in the area of energy, we've been able to give power supply to this area, and you can see it on the map. This area where we have 70%, used to be 30%.
Now 70%.
Power supply during the day is now 18 hours compared to 6 hours. Yeah, some people will tell you, in my neighborhood now,
there's light.
There's lights. There's always light.
So you can tell that particular ministry is working.
Just like my neighborhood.
It's working. Even if the person is paying more, they won't mind. They will tell you, once I have it, I'm okay.
Somebody once said, it's just that Nigerians will always come out to say, if that's the reason why you want to use beef to kill us, please take your life back. Nigerians always come. We can,
but I would say that if Nigerians are seeing work being done, just like taxes being paid, they are seeing things what their monies are being used for. I really do not think Nigerians will really bother about
that's why
paying
the
so much
countries will not complain about things we complain for.
At this point I want to call on the viewers to please share their opinion on this topic. How far have we fared? How far have they fared? Because now is a period where the scorecard is all over, and this will help every individual to be able to know which candidates I want to vote for. Do I want to continue to vote for this party, or I will vote for this party not because of the party but because of the candidate? Because those are the things we should also look beyond, because now at times it might not be about the party, it might be about the candidate, but for some it might be about the party and not the candidates. So we're bringing out the scorecard here so that you can be able to decide on what you're gonna do come February 2023. The number is there on the screen. You can call us, you can send a message to us. Let's hear what you feel. How far have they fared, gentlemen?
Well, I want to start from as a caller now. What me I've been saying still, and I will still remain on my words. I did not say it's a crime to compensate a politician with an appointment as a minister, but there are a lot of agencies that they can say. Minister is every ministry is like wings or feather of the president. Once one is affected, it means a part of his body is affected. When the ASUU were on strike, it's as simple as the Ministry of Education was collapsing at that time. That means the president should be feeling pain in a particular side of his body. Yeah, and if he refused to do it, then there can be problem. So if people who understand that particular ministry are being given the right appointment to, not like being a lawyer and be minister of power, and like you won't even understand when the professionals are communicating. You won't even know when they say this particular thing is 3 billion, and you'll be like, is it 3 billion? Because it's not your field. But imagine you being, it's as simple as making you now as the Attorney General of the Federation. Like, then you get to ask, who is not a lawyer, who is not a senior advocate of Nigeria, can that person become Attorney General of the Federation? Why don't they do that? But why do you have to put a lawyer as Ministry of Power when he doesn't know anything just because of what you want to play game? So I feel they should start appointing people in that same ministry who are experienced about it and who at least know where they stopped working first. I do not know how to put it, but then
just like saying those that have been in the system, those that have been in the system
before.
Yes, that knows about the
like you said, the administration will end barely 6 months.
Yeah,
from
but
now.
True that. I mean, we have 6 months to go. But from what you said, in 2 ministries that I know, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Justice. You've not had a non-medical person. You have to be a doctor.
No, but those are ministries that you cannot compromise.
So you have to. But we used to have that same Ministry of Health used to have a medical doctor who did not perform. Yes. Let's say the way it is.
Of course.
Who did not perform well at all. So, I mean, we try to, move these things around. And in this same administration, we've had it all over. If you check the papers now, the same, the Justice Ministry and all, we've had here. And you've had some who have really done excellently well. You've had some people who had worked as Minister of External Affairs, like 30 years ago. They're still calling them back now. Anything external affairs, that name still comes back now. So like, okay, what did this person do different? That means apart from the professionalism, these people have what it takes to get the job done. So we know these people in our society. And there had been times whereby the public outcry, like, this person is the person that can get this job done. Just put this person.
But sometimes I always feel to compensate a politician who lost an election, and because this person is in your party or your loyalist, they must still now give that person an appointment that will affect your own government. Because until we stop that habit of nepotism, favorism, tribalism, at the point in time, he said, all the, all the armed forces, all the this and that, they are from one particular tribe of this government. And, the constitutions allow the president to elect people he trusts that can manage that particular, military.
Ministry.
Yes, I know. I just said the head of military in the country at the point in time.
The security,
yes. At the point in time, they were all from one particular tribe. Nigerians were crying, shouting, why must it be like that? Forgetting that the constitution allowed the president to appoint people that he trusts, because anything can happen. Military is not somewhere you can just put somebody you don't trust. Security generally, they have to be trusted. But that is different from this case of ministries now. These are daily life.
But okay, having said all of this, we should also put into excuse me. We should also put into consideration while we are talking. We should also consider the fact that in the recent times, a lot of challenges that this particular government they have been faced with, which has also affected the world at large, and because of our peculiarity in some aspects, quote and unquote, and we are faced with a lot of challenges also. You talked about the COVID-19. We had we're having so many health challenge. We have challenges rather. We have
security challenges.
Security challenges, even leaving COVID-19 even out of it a bit. We have our internal challenges, health, when it comes to health issues. We have the Lassa, we have the monkeypox.
We have even cholera now.
Even cholera now. You know, a lot of and
yellow fever is the latest one.
It's just one too many, you know, for the government. Would you still say that?
Yeah, not one too many. Like I said earlier, if you take care of the small things, of the low-hanging fruits, if we have a primary healthcare system well functional, because even it was way back during the military era, I think that we had this plan of having primary healthcare outlets all over the country. If we take care of, I'm sure you don't even know where the primary healthcare in your own neighborhood is. We don't, because we don't go there, because we are not even encouraged to go there. And I mean, for all you care.
Sorry, sir. I know, but I don't go there.
You don't go there. And the governor had come out to say, I mean, last week, that the primary healthcare system in one of the high performing states, that the primary healthcare system is less than 40% or thereabout, and they're not really doing well. So if we take care of these things before they come up, I don't think the problem would not be as humongous as we have it now.
Well, talking about the primary healthcare center, at least we are here in Lagos, and we gave it to the Lagos State government, because I know at one time or the other I've had a cause to have things to do there, and I see that it can only get better. It can only get better. It can only get better. Also, I know that the Osun State government also, it did fantastically well when it comes to the healthcare sector. He had revamped a lot of the healthcare center, and is still, you know, up until the elections, it was still, you know, doing so much, you know, even, you know, there.
But I need to let you know something. It's a different thing for you to put a beautiful infrastructure.
I'm not talking about putting a beautiful infrastructure. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about infrastructure now. In Lagos State, take it to the bank. The healthcare system, they are working. They are working. Okay, on that note of healthcare system working, we're talking this morning about effectiveness of the government agencies and the ministries, because this is a period where the scorecard is just out there. They just have to, because elections fast approaching. February 2023 is coming just by the corner, and you need to know who to vote for, why you're voting for an individual, and to know if you really want to vote for that particular individual. That is the main reason why we are talking about all of this right now. We will go on a commercial break right now. When we return, we will continue with the discussion. Please stay with us, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
So promise and fail, oh yeah. And it don't take, we don't wait. PDP don't come again. Jando malole she, I am a tell you. Jando for governor. Jando under PDP. Jando 2023. Jando, I am a tell you. Jando for governor. Jando for Lagos. Jando for everybody. Fight for Lagos,
ẹ dìbò fún Dr. Abdulazeez Ọlájídé Adédìran Jandor fún ipò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nígboro?
Menene tana gore party a gurinka.
Kò sí àpótò n'obodo. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀?
Wetin dey happen?
As e dey, go. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀ my people? Ọdọọdún báyìí ní Saporuwe, ọdọọdún lè wòrà wà, ọ̀tún lọ́jọ́ yọ, ọ̀tún lòrùn ràn. Ọdọọdún báyìí ní Saporuwe, ọdọọdún lè wòrà wà. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀ for this kind economy? MITV, we are going to dey enjoy the full flesh as e dey happen, as e dey ṣẹlẹ̀, we go dey give you back to back. You know as e dey happen now, as e dey ṣẹlẹ̀, we go dey dish am out for this kind ogbonge economy. MITV, ẹ̀yin tèmi, lẹ́kọ̀ọ́tù òjèrè, adùn báyìí ní Tóyin, ọ̀tún báyìí lọ́jọ́ yọ, a tún ti balẹ̀ kàṣàgbà síkànnì yìí ká lè máa fún yín tán lẹ́bàá pé táwọn bá ti dé tán báyìí kó máa ṣe kíni kó máa sí rírí wẹ̀rẹ̀ níkànnì ni wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀ wetin dey ẹ máa gbádùn ẹ̀ níkànnì yìí Ọ̀túnba Adédìradé ìlú ọkọ̀tì. Wetin dey ṣẹlẹ̀.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.